This is my fourth box, the religion box, because our worship of God can look different, but at the end of the day, it should be the same, right? A few of my sources are Mankind's Search for God, book from the Watchtower Bible, and Secret Life of Symbols from Jordan Maxwell. One of the oldest books that claim inspiration coming directly from God is the Bible. It is the most widely distributed and translated book throughout the world in history. Therefore, the inspired Bible should serve as a reliable yardstick for true and acceptable worship. All scripture is inspired by God and profitable for teaching, rebuking, correcting, and training in righteousness, so that the servant of God may be fully equipped for every good work. 2 Timothy 3:16 through 17. So, what was the first? The oldest portion of the Bible is older than the all other religious writings. The Torah, or the first five books of the Bible, the law written under the inspiration of Moses, dates back to the 15th and 16th centuries BC in comparison. The Hindu scripture, the Rig Veda, was completed around 900 BC and claims no divine inspiration. The Buddhist canon of the Three Baskets dates back to the 5th century BC. The Quran claims to have transmitted to God through the angel Gabriel. It is a product of the 7th century BC. And the Book of Mormon, supposedly given to Joseph Smith in the United States by the angel named Moroni, is a product of the 19th century. And some of these works are divinely inspired as some claim. If some of these works are as divinely inspired as some claim, then what they offer in terms of religious guidance should not contradict the teachings of the Bible and should offer interesting answers to our questions. So, what is the purpose of religion? There are several religions throughout the world, such as Catholics, Protestants, Christians, Jews, just to name a few. But how should it be measured? And if the doctrines are complicated, how can we simplify them? And by following these doctrines, will they make us a good person? Will we have good qualities such as being generous, humble, tolerant, and compassionate? Is there any criteria or standard that should be followed? Every good tree produces fine fruit, but every rotten tree produces worthless fruit. A good tree cannot bear worthless fruit, nor can a rotten tree produce fine fruit. Every tree that does not produce fine fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Really, then, by their fruits they will recognize those men. Matthew 17 through 20. And within that, we have virtues and sins. Positive fruit of the Spirit, such as love, peace, joy, patience, goodness, faith, and self control. All religions must produce this kind of fruit. But do they? Do yours? Galatians 5:22 through 23. So, yes, we have the seven deadly sins: pride, envy, wrath, sloth, avarice, gluttony, lust, and we have the mirror side of the seven holy virtues. So, we have humility, kindness, patience, diligence, temperance, abstinence, chastity. For every bad deed, there should be a good deed. There's bad things and there are good things. Let's make the distinguish between the two, and let's be clear on what those are. For love and hate are two sides of the same coin. The same energy that comes from loving your parents, your family, your spouse, your friends, comes the same energy that comes from hating others, hating certain things about certain people or certain parts of society. That energy comes from the heart. The importance of emotions are very, very there, like they're very clear. Emotions are important psychologically because they help us connect with others, improve our confidence in ourselves, improve our skills to handle difficult decisions. It reduces anxiety, stress, and depression, and it can heal our emotional wounds as well. So it's very important. Our emotions are very, very important. Our body should always be connected. Each organ has a neurological connection with our brain. and they are in constant contact. For example, when we're hungry, our stomach creates a pain signal to our brain so that it is aware of what we should eat. Our organs also help process emotions when unexpected situations, kind of like a shock conflict, happen in our lives. For example, our heart hurts when someone we love passes away or when our partner separates from us. If you are not aware of the pains or what was the root of the problem, you may fall into the same problem again and go through the same experience until you resolve the conflict. And our emotions, whether you think they're or not, are actually very logical. Our emotions don't necessarily have to be visible for them to be real. But the more intense the situation, the more likely it is that the stronger the emotions become. If we can recognize our emotions and be logical with them, we can control our own emotional energy efficiently. For example, if something looks dangerous, such as walking through a dark alley, it is logical to be afraid and decide to walk somewhere else. So, with controlling our emotions comes things that are changing our mindset from fear to fearlessness. Our human biology naturally gets scared and goes into fight or flight mode when our life is in danger. It's very easy to lose our cool and panic when our adrenaline starts pumping in our blood. Courageous leaders who can control their emotions are the ones that rescue others from the danger, even if that means putting their own lives in danger. It is easier and more practical to run from a situation like a coward, but it also depends on the person's moral compass to do the right thing, even if it is hard or even fatal. So we already know that our emotions are real and powerful, but now let's recognize how each person controls them. Although astrology is not a religion, it offers comfort, faith, and a deeper understanding of the world we live in. Interpretations offer no guarantees of one's future, but they are supposed to show us a way to solve our problems and improve our relationships with our partners, family, and friends, and insightful tools to find ourselves and discover our inner worlds in a different light. And there are different models of astrology. There was the Chinese astrology is based on the traditional astronomy. The development the development of Chinese astrology is linked to that of astronomy, which flourished during the Han Dynasty. The Chinese horoscope is one of the oldest known horoscope systems in the world and consists of 12 animals representing a given year. The Jyotisha is a traditional Hindu system of astrology and astronomy, which are also known as Hindu or Indian astrology, or more recently, Vedic astrology. The horoscopes of Vedic astrology are divided into three main branches: Indian astronomy, mundane astrology, and predictive astrology. The Mayan astrology is also based on the Mayan calendar and is one of the most progressive types of astrology. The Mayan calendar, or the Zolkin, is based on an intangible energy of the cosmos and the evolution of creation. The Zolkin calendar consists of 20-day signs, solar tribes, and 13 galactic numbers, making a calendar year of 260 days. So astrology works, astrologers don't. Most people who visit astrologers or read their horoscopes regularly end up feeling somewhat like euphoria. This does not mean that astrologers have accurately predicted the future or present of the individual based on the dates of the horoscope, but it does mean that having a horoscope can actually have a very satisfying experience. And with that is where we're going to dive in a little bit deeper into these because we need to talk about important things regarding astrology. So there are no incompatible zodiac signs in astrology, which means that any two signs are more or less compatible, but it's the probabilities that will determine that compatibility. Two people whose zodiac signs are highly compatible will get along very well because they are on the same wavelength. However, people whose zodiac signs are less compatible will need to be more patient and discreet to achieve a happy and harmonious relationship. The probabilities are the result of six important measures of each relationship. Number one being intimacy and compatibility, two being trust, three communication and intellect, four emotions in general, five values, and six shared activities. 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, it always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. So we start off with Aquarius. Their strengths are that they are progressive, original, independent, and humanitarian. However, they'll run from emotional expressions, they're temperamental, uncompromising, and aloof. Aquarius enjoy having fun with friends, risky business, fighting for causes, having intellectual conversations, and they dislike limitations, broken promises, being lonely, anything that's dull or boring situations. Pisces are compassionate, artistic, intuitive, gentle, wise, and musical. However, this also makes them fearful, overly trusting, sad, desire to escape reality, and can be a victim or a martyr. They enjoy being alone, love, sleeping, music, romance, swimming, spiritual themes. And they dislike anything that has to do with someone knowing it all, being criticized, the past coming back to haunt them, or cruelty of any kind. Aries. They are very courageous, determined, confident, enthusiastic, optimistic, honest, and passionate. However, this also makes them impatient, moody, short tempered, impulsive, and aggressive. Aries enjoy comfortable clothes, taking on leadership roles, physical challenges, and individual sports. And they dislike anything that has to do with inactivity, delays, and any work that does not include one's talent. Taurus. They are usually reliable, patient, practical, devoted, responsible, and stable. However, this also makes them stubborn, possessive, and uncompromising. Tauruses enjoy gardening, cooking, music, romance, high quality clothes, working with their hands, and they don't like sudden changes, complications, insecurity of any kind, and synthetic fabrics. Gemini, they can be gentle, affectionate, curious, adaptable, ability to learn quickly and exchange ideas, but this also makes them nervous, inconsistent, and indecisive. Geminis like music, books, magazines, chats with nearly anyone, and short trips around the town. Geminis just dislike being alone, being confined, and going through the same repetition or routine. Cancer. They can be tenacious, highly imaginative, loyal, emotional, sympathetic, and persuasive. Their weaknesses is that they can be moody, pessimistic, suspicious, manipulative, and insecure. Cancers enjoy art, home-based hobbies, relaxing near or in the water, helping loved ones, and a good meal with friends. However, cancers don't like strangers, any criticism of mom, or revealing a personal life, anything that exposes. Leos. They can be creative, passionate, generous, warm-hearted, cheerful, and humorous. However, this can also make them arrogant, stubborn, self-centered, lazy, and inflexible. Leo enjoys theater, taking holidays, being admired, expensive things such as bright colors and fun with friends. Leo dislikes being ignored, facing difficult reality, and not being treated like a king or queen. Virgo. They are loyal, analytical, kind, hardworking, and practical. However, this can also make them a little shy, worrisome, overly critical of self and others, and they are all work and no play. Virgos enjoy animals, healthy food, books, nature, and cleanliness, but they don't like rudeness, asking for help, or taking the center stage. Libra. Their strengths are they're cooperative, diplomatic, gracious, fair-minded, social, but they also makes them indecisive, avoid confrontations, and will carry a grudge and self-pity. Libras enjoy harmony, gentleness, sharing with others, and the outdoors. However, they dislike violence, injustice, loudmouths, and conformity. Scorpio, they can be resourceful, they are powerful, brave, passionate, and are a true friend. However, this also makes them a little bit distrusting, jealous, manipulative, and sometimes violent. Scorpios enjoy the truth, the facts, being right, talent, teasing, and passion. However, they don't like dishonesty, revealing secrets, superficiality, and small talk. Sagittarius can be generous, idealistic, and have a great sense of humor. However, this also makes them promise more that they can deliver. They can be very impatient and will say anything no matter how undiplomatic. Sagittarius enjoy freedom, travel, philosophy, and being outdoors. However, they dislike clingy people, being constrained, and off the wall theories and details. Capricorn. They are responsible, disciplined, self controlled, and make good managers. However, this sometimes makes them a know it all, can be unforgiving, condescending, and expecting the worst. Capricorns like family, tradition, music, understated status, and quality craftsmanship. And Capricorn, at some point, they just don't like anything at some point, I guess. Fire needs air to breathe, and air needs water to fertilize. Signs belonging to the same element are naturally compatible since they understand each other. The synastry is a branch of astrology in which two birth tables are taken to determine the quality between the love connections between the zodiacal signs. Synastry or relationship horoscopes can be a useful tool for couples who want to know the strengths and weaknesses of their relationship. Comparing the signs can help you better understand your partner, which can result in a better relationship. So, these are some of the metaphorical signs and how they kind of relate to us. Water signs. Water signs are exceptionally emotional and ultra sensitive people. They are extremely intuitive and can be as mysterious as the ocean itself. Water signs have an excellent memory and deep conversations and intimacy. They criticize themselves openly and are always there to provide support to their loved ones. The water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Fire signs. They tend to be passionate, dynamic, and temperamental. They get angry easily, but they also forgive just as easily. They are adventurers who possess immense energy. People under the fire signs are intelligent, self-aware, creative, and idealistic, always ready for action. The fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Earth signs. Earth signs are those that have their feet firmly on the ground and those that can help us do the same. They tend to be conservative and realistic, but they can also become very emotional. They love luxury and material goods. They are practical, loyal, stable, and are always there for their loved ones during difficult times. The earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Air signs. Air signs are people who love to communicate and build relationships and with other people. They are thinkers, friendly, intellectual, communicative, and analytical. They love philosophical discussions, social gatherings, and good books. They enjoy giving advice, but they can become very superficial. The signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Strengthening our weaknesses. If we can recognize our weaknesses and be able to work on them and grow and mature, the more aware we are of our mistakes, the more attention we will pay the next time we have to make a different decision. Making a different decision can be easy or difficult depending on each person's point of view. For example, for every lazy parent, there is a patient parent. For every impatient mother, there is a working mother. It is important to understand the dynamics of the situation because each person is unique and responds to problems in different ways. As long as the goal or purpose can be fulfilled, such as winning a game or completing a project, the war should equal the sacrifice. Strengthening our friendly and professional relationships. Most think that zodiac signs are only for romantic relationships, but in reality, they also include professional relationships from work or business and friendships between friends and family. Perhaps we treat our brothers and sisters with more affection than a stranger down the street, and it is probably because there is more trust, love, and companionship. The odds that determine that a couple will stay a couple is very similar to the probabilities of an employee following the loyalty of a company. If we recognize that we as humans are all connected in one way or another, we can continue to function better as a society. There are millions of examples in this universe where we can analyze situations as a problem and a solution with the zodiac. An example of society: a court of law must give a fair trial to a man suspected of murder to remove all reasonable doubt and deliver a fair sentence if necessary. After reviewing all reasonable evidence and documents and hearing from a fair jury of the people, the defendant is still convicted, then he deserves the karma of the punishment, punishable by law. If you are not committing murder, then what are you doing? What is your profession, your purpose, or your passion? What do you do? Because in the end, we all reap what we sow, and only God will reveal to us what is on the other side of the mystery. So this brings me to worshiping the Son of God. The sun has been very dominant in the records of humanity. The ancients drew a circle with a cross with equal arms to represent the sun. Many ancient civilizations used this symbol, but it was never intended to be perceived as God, but rather as the spiritual qualities of God. The sun brings heat, energy, and life to the earth. The reason why they use four lines between the circles is to represent the four seasons of the year: spring, summer, autumn, and winter, along with the north, west, east, and south, which are also the four corners. For this reason, the Bible has the four Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. All over the world, from different civilizations, we see the symbols of sun worship. The Norse had this symbol, the Vikings had this symbol, ancient France, India, Celtic Druids in England and Ireland, the Native Americans, the Incas, the Mayans, and the South America. People noticed that the sun would reach the northern hemisphere again to bring abundant warmth, food, and prosperity. They would celebrate the return of the sun when it died in the winter and in all its glory. It can be said that it was not a man on the cross, but he was the sun crossing from one season to another. Here is a picture of the Nordics preparing for Easter. The idea being that the sun dies in the winter to be reborn in the spring. And many different, very high profile parts of society, such as kings and queens, would use this symbol for very specific purposes. So, what is Christianity, by the way? Most colleges or universities that register as Christian have an event where they come together at the pole to worship Jesus, the Son of God and the light of the world. But they have never realized that the symbol is to help recognize how the sun works. All churches use the same symbol of the cross without knowing that it has already been in existence for more than 5,000 years. What about Catholicism? Jesus gives a part of his body, ray of sun, to his children so that they are also blessed by him, and that is why it is celebrated in the first communion. So it's kind of like the sun giving you the rays. The Son or the Son of God is the same thing. If we look online in the dictionary of etymology about the Son, we will see that it is used interchangeably with the Son of God. Son, the Son, same thing. So that means that the Virgin Mary is kind of symbolizes the sun's solstice of Virgo. Jesus' mother is Mary, but she is spelled Mari. Mar means pure. That is why Jesus' mother is a virgin as a symbol of Virgo. In the images, Mary is depicted carrying Jesus, the light of the world. The age of Taurus. The age of the bull was when humans first used animals for agriculture. Each era lasts 2,160 years. Those from India adore the bull very much to this day. And we have here a few Bible verses. Um, Do you know the laws of the heavens? Can you set up God's dominion over the earth? And God said, let there be lights in the vault of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark sacred times and days and years. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I'm going to there to prepare a place for you? So the 12 apostles are really just the 12 signs of the zodiac, or the Mazara, which means the 12 signs of the zodiac, and it's been listed everywhere in the Bible. God created the constellation of the zodiac, and many Christians think it is something diabolical, but in reality it is exactly the opposite. The symbols are used in a clock that has 12 digits that repeat like a circle. The zodiac simply means the 12 main signs that help us understand each other to mature and grow. The 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 brothers of Joseph, the 12 stones at the rest of the high priest all usually mean the same thing.